Why American airports are always crowded and delayed. In 2023, American Airlines delayed over 1.6 million flights. That's one delayed flight every 20 seconds. If you've ever been stuck in an airport for hours, watching your gate change 3 times while your plane sits mysteriously waiting for crew, you've probably wondered, why does this keep happening? The answer is way more interesting than you think. Today, I'm going to reveal the real reasons why American airports feel like chaos factories. And trust me, it's not just about bad weather or lazy airlines. There's an entire broken system behind those delays, and once you understand it, you'll never look at air travel the same way. Let's break it down. First, let's talk about the scale of the problem. In 2024, over 900 million passengers traveled through U.S. airports. That's nearly 3 times the entire population of America flying in a single year. Now here's where it gets crazy. The US has about 5,000 public airports, but only 30 of them handle nearly 70% of all passenger traffic. Think about that. Almost 3/4 of America's travelers are squeezing through just 30 airports. Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson Airport alone sees over 100 million passengers annually. That's more people than the populations of California and Texas combined, all flowing through one facility. But here's a question for you. When do you think America built most of its major airports? The 1990s? 2000s? Wrong. Most were built in the 1950s and 60s. We're running 21st century traffic through infrastructure designed for post-World War II travel levels. And that's just the beginning of the problem. Let me paint you a picture of what's really happening behind the scenes. LaGuardia Airport in New York was built in 1939. For decades, it was called the ugliest airport in America. Why? Because it was literally falling apart while handling 31 million passengers a year. The runways at many U.S. airports are too close together by modern standards. At some airports, planes have to wait longer between takeoffs because the old runway layout doesn't allow for quick sequencing. This creates delays before aircraft even leave the ground. Then there's the terminal situation. Most American airport terminals were designed when planes were smaller and people carried less luggage. Now we have massive aircraft like the Airbus A380 and Boeing 787 trying to use gates built for much smaller planes. The jetways don't always fit properly. The taxiways are congested. Everything takes longer. But wait, there's more. America's air traffic control system is running on technology from the 1960s. I'm not exaggerating. While countries like Singapore and Dubai use satellite-based GPS tracking systems, many U.S. airports still rely on ground-based radar that requires pilots to follow less efficient flight paths. The FAA has been trying to modernize this with a program called Next Gen, but it's been delayed for over 15 years and is still incomplete. That's right, even the program to fix delays is delayed. Now let's talk about something airlines don't want you to understand. Their entire business model is built on overbooking and tight scheduling. Here's how it works. Airlines studied passenger behavior and realized that about 5 to 10% of people miss their flights or cancel at the last minute. So they started selling more tickets than they have seats. When everyone actually shows up, that's when you hear, "We're looking for volunteers to take a later flight." But that's not the worst part. To maximize profits, airlines schedule what they call minimum turnaround times. This means your plane lands, passengers get off, cleaners rush through, new passengers board, and the plane takes off again, all in about 30 to 45 minutes. Sounds efficient, right? Here's the problem. This system has zero buffer for anything going wrong. A late passenger, delayed baggage cart, maintenance issue, the entire schedule collapses like dominoes. One delayed plane can create 15 more delays throughout the day because that same aircraft is scheduled for multiple flights. According to the Bureau of Transportation Statistics, 30% of delays are caused by airline operations and maintenance, things completely within their control. Weather only accounts for about 6% of delays, despite what airlines always blame. Ever wonder why European airlines have fewer delays on average? They build more buffer time into their schedules. American airlines choose profits over punctuality. Here's something that became painfully obvious after COVID. American aviation is facing a massive staffing shortage, and it's getting worse. During the pandemic, airlines laid off thousands of workers and offered early retirement to pilots. When travel bounced back faster than expected, they couldn't rehire quickly enough. Why? Because training a new pilot takes 18 to 24 months and costs between $100,000 to $150,000. As of 2024, the U.S. faces a shortage of about 12,000 pilots, and that number could hit 50,000 by 2032 as older pilots retire. Regional airlines are hit hardest. Some canceled entire routes because they simply don't have pilots. But it's not just pilots. Air traffic controllers are critically understaffed too. The FAA currently employs about 10,000 fewer controllers than it needs. These controllers work mandatory overtime, leading to fatigue and slower operations. Ground staff, baggage handlers, and security personnel are also in short supply. At some airports, security lines stretch for hours because TSA can't hire enough screeners. When you're stuck in line, missing your flight, that's a staffing problem masquerading as a security process. And here's the kicker. These jobs don't pay enough to attract workers in expensive airport cities. A baggage handler in New York might earn $15 to $18 per hour, while living costs demand twice that. Who's going to take that deal? Now let me show you how all these problems create a perfect storm of delays. It's Monday morning. A plane scheduled to fly from Los Angeles to Dallas was delayed yesterday in Chicago due to understaffing. That means your Dallas flight is already starting late. But there's more. Because of the tight schedule, the crew is now approaching their maximum work hours set by FAA regulations. The airline scrambles to find replacement crew, but they're in another city. By the time they arrive, your 3-hour delay becomes 6 hours. Meanwhile, that plane was supposed to continue to Miami, then Atlanta. Now those flights are delayed too. One staffing issue in Chicago just created delays for hundreds of passengers across 4 cities. This happens thousands of times daily across the American aviation system. It's not a bug, it's a feature of how airlines choose to operate. Let's address the crowds now. Why do airports feel like sardine cans? Airline mergers are a huge factor. In 1990, America had 12 major airlines. Today, 4 mega carriers control 80% of the market: American, Delta, United, and Southwest. Fewer airlines mean fewer flights, which means fuller planes and more crowded terminals. These airlines use a hub-and-spoke system. Instead of direct flights between smaller cities, they funnel everyone through massive hubs like Atlanta, Dallas, and Chicago. This creates massive congestion at specific airports, while smaller airports sit underutilized. Then there's the TA checkpoint bottleneck. Created after 9/11, security checkpoints process about 2.5 million passengers daily during peak season. But the screening process hasn't gotten faster. It's actually slower with increased restrictions. Those lines aren't getting shorter anytime soon. And here's something wild. American airport concessions are deliberately designed to keep you there longer. That's why security is often far from gates. More walking means more time to shop and eat, generating more revenue for airports. So here's what we've uncovered. American airport chaos isn't random. It's the result of outdated infrastructure built for a different era. Airlines squeezing every penny from tight schedules, critical staffing shortages across the industry, and a hub system that concentrates traffic into bottleneck airports. The truth is, American airlines operate on razor-thin margins that work perfectly only when everything goes right. And in the real world, things never go perfectly right. Other countries have solved this. Singapore's Changi Airport is consistently rated the world's best with minimal delays. Japan's airports run like clockwork. The difference? Investment in infrastructure, better scheduling practices, and treating air travel as essential public infrastructure rather than pure profit centers. Can American aviation fix this? Absolutely. Will it? That depends on whether airlines and airports prioritize passenger experience over quarterly earnings reports. Next time you're stuck in a delay, you'll know exactly why. And maybe, just maybe, you'll plan for those extra buffer hours. Thanks for watching. If you learned something new, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into systems that affect your daily life.